Hey everyone, welcome back to the Privacy Guy. Today I want to talk a little bit about DuckDuckGo and Apple and why I think there's been a lot of discussion about Apple possibly purchasing DuckDuckGo, and I just want to talk a little bit about why that's possible, why that's something people are even considering, and then maybe a little bit about why I don't think that's going to happen. So first of all, for those of you that don't know, DuckDuckGo is a private search engine. I've made quite a few videos about DuckDuckGo, so if you haven't watched those, go check them out. But basically, DuckDuckGo is a search engine just like Google. However, it doesn't track users' information. It simply just gets your search term. It doesn't use your browser history or anything to determine which search results you're going to see. So basically, it's kind of a neutral or unbiased search engine, and it takes privacy seriously. So it's a good alternative if you're interested in privacy. Obviously, Apple is one of the largest tech companies in the world. They make hardware, that's kind of their main focus, but they've kind of moved into software and other systems over the past few years or decades even. But people think that DuckDuckGo and Apple align really well, and in some ways they do. Apple's been very vocal about its concern for users' privacy. It's taken many steps to kind of protect people's privacy, specifically on iOS devices and even Mac recently with changes to blocking tracking in their Safari browser. But at the end of the day, Apple's still a for-profit company, and they've been criticized for privacy issues in the past, with allowing certain apps in their app store to collect information, with leaking people's information without disclosing that. So Apple's not perfect on privacy, but even many of the privacy-focused companies that I make videos about have had issues in the past. So I think that just comes with the territory of being in tech these days. And although I don't advocate for companies that openly leak people's information or share that information with third parties against people's will, that's kind of the world we live in. So DuckDuckGo and Apple, they already have kind of an interesting relationship. You may notice if you have an iPhone or a Mac, if you open the web browser and you search for something, you're going to get Google results by default. And Google pays Apple a lot of money to be the default search engine on these devices. And obviously that's a big chunk of Google's business, is the search traffic that it gets from iPhones and Mac computers. But if you go into your settings and you want to change your default search engine, guess what? DuckDuckGo is listed as an option that you can change your default search to if you're not satisfied with Google, or you just want something that takes your privacy a little more seriously. So if you want to use DuckDuckGo on your Mac or iOS device, it's an option. This was kind of a recent change, and it's a pretty big win for DuckDuckGo when you consider the millions of users that Mac and iPhones get. That could potentially increase their market share by a notable amount, whether that's from 1% of the global search traffic to 1.5. That's a big chunk of money and big chunk of traffic that DuckDuckGo probably wouldn't get otherwise. So Apple and DuckDuckGo have already kind of collaborated on this, or at least worked together to make DuckDuckGo an option. But I think Apple is pretty sincere about their concern about protecting users from certain tracking, and DuckDuckGo is a company that is concerned about that as well. So I think their views do align. And at the end of the day, I think it would be a great move for DuckDuckGo if they were purchased by Apple, simply because one of the criticisms of DuckDuckGo is that it's kind of clunky and it's not as good as Google. And I think DuckDuckGo has improved a ton. It's definitely not clunky, but at times the results can feel like, what's going on here? What'd they miss? So by teaming up with Apple, DuckDuckGo could have the resources that Apple has to invest in their user interface, to invest in their search results quality, all that stuff. So I think it would benefit DuckDuckGo greatly to have the power of Apple behind them. For Apple, I think having their own search engine could help them. It could be a revenue source. Rather than having Google pay them, they could make money directly from their own search engine, however they see fit. Obviously, that would require a bunch of development of maybe their own ads platform, of catching up with Google and finding a search engine that has all that data collected, so it's able to provide quality results that people are actually looking for. And maybe teaming up with DuckDuckGo would give Apple the head start that it needed, so it didn't have to develop its own search engine from scratch. But unfortunately, Apple super kind of operates behind closed doors, so the public is not going to have an idea of whether Apple's developing its own search engine or if it's has a deal in the works with DuckDuckGo to acquire that company. But I think it could be interesting. It could help promote a privacy-friendly search engine. It could help grow privacy, just general awareness of privacy. Obviously, when a company like Apple does something, a lot of people watch and a lot of people react. And if that means more people are adopting DuckDuckGo, I think it's a good thing overall for privacy and privacy tools. So yeah, we don't really know yet if there's a deal in the works or what's happening, but obviously that could still happen in the future, or we might see a new search engine released from Apple in the coming years. So let me know if you have any kind of thoughts on this. I'd love to kind of have a discussion with you in the comments, or if you work for Apple and you have some secrets, let me know. I'd love to hear them. Anyway, thanks for tuning in to The Privacy Guy. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. It really helps me spread my message of privacy around the internet. If you've done that, thank you. I appreciate it. But otherwise, stay tuned for more videos and check back soon.